Hi guys, my name is Bitumelo Tumisontashe. Welcome to This Time with Christ. I'm a South African currently living in South Korea and I teach English. So I've been here for almost 2 years. soon I'll be celebrating 2 years in South Korea, and I thought, why not make a video on my experience thus far. So I arrived here in November 2023, and it has been a beautiful journey. So to make this recording or this video to be structured and to make sure that I'm concise, because hey, Mina, I can go there. I have some questions that I'll be answering to just help someone who might be thinking of moving to South Korea or thinking of moving abroad, moving to Asia or any other country to pursue their career or to pursue teaching. Yes, I got here in November 2023, and prior to that I used to work at a call center. And before working at a call center, I was unemployed. I was unemployed, but I was just trying different things. There was a point where I was selling handbags, I sold chickens, and what else? Yeah, I was just trying to have a source of income. And during that phase, or that couple of months of being unemployed, I did my PGCE certificate. And then I was unemployed, selling things, selling bags, selling chickens. What else did I sell? Tried selling hair with my friend, and she's still selling hair. And then I got the call center job, and then after a year, almost 2 years at the call center job, I moved here. So that is me in a nutshell. That is my journey before South Korea. So when I got here, honestly, South Korea was just mainly for a job, but God works in amazing ways. He has truly given me more than what I've asked for, more than what I've hoped for, So it has been not an easy journey, but it has been a beautiful journey, and I'm glad that through the grace of God, I have been able to be here. So just a quick recap on the preparation. So I started working on my documentations in February. That is February of 2023. So I started with the police clearance certificate. We know the process. You start with not that you start with your police clearance certificate, but you need your apostilled police clearance certificate, and you also need your apostilled degree. So in February 2023, I started with my police clearance, and then I applied through Covia.com. And the interview was successful, and then I saw that, okay, this is serious, and then I applied for my SACA verification letter for the quotation, then the verification letter. So the journey began in February 2023, and I think my papers were all completed, ready around August. They took a very long time. There was a point where I had to call SACA over and over again concerning the verification letter. And with the police clearance, mine took like 2 months. I know with others it can take like a month and all that, but I just did my police clearance at the local police station, and then it had to they take it to Pretoria, and that whole process. And in the mix of getting the documents prepared, I used Postnet Brooklyn to assist with couriering the documents to DECO, and then from DECO to my place, to the Postnet nearest to my home. So that was the documentation process right before South Korea. And as soon as the papers were ready, I only had 2 interviews. So the first one, it was like a no, like the interviewer, even their level of English as well is like And then, yeah, it was not connecting. I also felt that this interview was just really bad and it did not work out. And then I had my second interview with the school that I'm currently working for, and everything went well. It was just flowing. It felt like a conversation, right? It did not necessarily feel like an interview. Yes, they asked like teaching based questions, classroom based questions, but it never felt like it was, a standard interview. And when I remember quite well, I did my interview at the workplace that I was working at the call center job. So I did my interview there. Guys, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I did my interview there and it went well. So I got in South Korea in November, and yes, November is winter time. So hey, mina namakaza vele. So the first thing that came to mind was, it is freezing, it is cold. Mind you, I did watch YouTube videos, I did research and all that, and then I did ask one friend of mine who came before me, right, and she advised me, winter clothes, baby girl, just pack up winter clothes. And in my mind, I took the best winter clothes that I had, but when I got here, it was like, it's nothing. So I had to like order jackets, and then my colleagues assisted with that, with ordering some, warm bomber jackets and jumper jackets and all that. So yeah, I did that. That was my first impression, that it is extremely cold. With my workplace, so the franchise that I work for is a well-known franchise, and people have different experiences, right? And some will have positive, others will have negative experiences, and I guess it's also based on those in management, right? How they treat the people, how they run the place. So with me, I'm fortunate enough that I am at a branch whereby the management, personally, I see it fit. It's not, it does not bother me at all. I sleep well at night, and so I work 2 to 10 p.m. And sometimes you do get the time to have a break, sometimes you don't, because you are busy and there's just a lot of admin. But nothing that I cannot manage. So during the live sessions, they like to just say, "Guti, mina ke mo risk taker." Just to jump on to some challenges that I faced, I think the hardest time was my first 3 months. So the first 3 months it was hectic for me. I don't want to lie, it was hectic. As much as I was excited, taking pictures of the new place and all that, but it was really hard, right? Just constantly thinking of my mom and my sister, if they are, if they are handling things properly, because back at home I was like, I'm the breadwinner, I am the everything, I run the household. So when you're not there as the person who they rely on, it was really hard. And in that, I guess God was just teaching me that He is truly in control, and I don't need to control things. I don't need to worry so much about things. So that was just the hardest thing for me, leaving my sister and my mother, and by 2, it was really hard. Not getting hold of them via phone, I would just go straight to panic mode. What's going on? What's happening? But I think God was just, not even I think, God in those 3 months, He just taught me total reliance on Him, and that He is God, He is in control, right? He is in control. As much as I am His child, my mom and my sister, they are His children, right? And He will never harm them. He will never allow, bad to happen over them. And to also just work on my mindset, to work on my thoughts, and I was just at that space of being anxious. I was really, really anxious, and God had to work on that. We had to work on the anxiety and come to the place where the first thing that comes to mind when they don't pick up the call is just the worst thing. So that was not a healthy way of living. So I think that was just lesson number one. And secondly, as much as I think I've shared this before, as much as I've been a Christian, but since I got here, I understood, right, and I'm still learning that Christianity is not just about church. Being a follower of Christ, it is not just about going to church, it's not only just about that. It's not just about being part of a certain department, but truly Christianity and being a follower of Christ, it is truly about personal relationship. It is truly about allowing yourself to be perfected by Christ, allowing yourself to learn from Christ and to learn through his lenses. So that would be the second thing that I learned, and in a way it was a challenge because I could not understand at the time what was going on. And I remember, I'm so grateful of my friends, the endless calls that I would have with them, just crying because I did not understand what was going on with me, and now I get to learn that it was just the pruning process. So another challenge would be, it took me some time to just have no friends, to just have friends, to have people I can make plans with. It took me a while, but I think it's because of the other spiritual, emotional things that I was dealing with. So I did not have the capacity to actually, to do all that. I was not in that space. I was not in that phase, right? And you would get people from home, you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere. And some things are just hard to explain. Some things are just really hard to explain. Then I would just say, I just sleep, it's still winter. And that too, winter, but it's still winter. So I prefer to just stay indoors. But this time around, we'll see what this winter plus is Kulila. Says Kulila this winter. So yeah, that too, it took me quite a while, to just make to cultivate friendships, but now we're good. So going back to my work place, so the workload, yes, it's there. And one thing one should be mindful of, to understand, to know, is that honestly, when you come to South Korea, you have truly came here to work, right? And especially if you're going to come through the Hagwon route. This is not to say when you're working for Epic, you don't work. You still put in the work, right? But you need to be really mindful of the fact that at Hagwons, we work, because it's a business. So understand that it's a business, and your boss is your boss. You understand? So hey, you will work. On paper, you might read the contract and it sounds good, it sounds perfect, everything seems to do tada, right? You would do all the necessary research precautions. You will take all the necessary precautions, right? But when you get here, it's a different story in how they manage the place. And it's also important to not come here only for the nice time, only to travel, only to do this, do that. Those are beautiful things to do. Yes, do them if you want to, but to also have the mindset of growth, right? Have the mindset of learning, right? Especially if you have decided whether or not you did education as your degree, but to have an open mind of growth. Allow yourself to learn. Allow yourself to learn new skills, to cultivate old skills, right? So be in that phase of learning, allowing yourself to learn, allowing yourself to unlearn, be open to different cultures, because just like myself, I work with other foreign teachers from other countries, right? So I'm not the only foreign teacher at my school, right? So you need to also be open to learning from the other cultures, not only the Korean culture, but how people would do things if they're from America, if they're from, if they're from Scotland, right? So you need to be mindful of that. You need to be open to learning and be open to, taking a few things and implement them in your life if it is enriching, obviously. So also be open-minded in that. Do not box yourself. Do not box yourself. Yes, you need to be aware of who you are, what you stand for, what you do, what you don't do, but don't box yourself to the point that you do not grow. So allow yourself to grow in your career. Also allow yourself to grow socially, to grow physically, to grow in different aspects, as well as spiritually, to grow spiritually. If you are a Christian, allow yourself to grow in the relationship with Christ, because like you spend most of your time alone. So your time alone, you better spend it well. Spend it in the word. Spend it spend it in knowing your Father, man. So it is, I think for me, that has been the best benefit, right, of being here, that my devotion time, it is not the same as compared to back at home. How I spend time with God now, how I set time aside to know sometimes, yes, it's not easy, right? But compared to back at home, there has truly been an improvement. There has truly been a growth. And with discipline, with continuous beating up my physical flesh, it can only, get better. So allow yourself to grow. Allow yourself to grow mentally, buy books. Now you have the money coming in. Buy books that will enrich you. Buy books that will help you to be a better being. For myself, when it comes to finances, I had a horrible relationship with money. This comes to the point of during the preparation process. Then it was time to come to South Korea. And Miguel did not have much money put aside to come here. As much as the money that I was earning as a call center agent, it was not much. But if one had the discipline and if one had a healthy relationship with money, there wouldn't have been a need for me to ask family members, to ask friends to assist, right? And I'm glad that they did. But for me, I think when I got here, I realized, because, you are spending me time, you're reflecting and all that. I realized that, girl, my relationship with money, it wasn't a good one, right? It wasn't a healthy one. It wasn't a beautiful one. And in that, as a Christian, you take it back to the Father. Good, hey, help me with this. And then, read books as well, watch videos, ask people. I have a friend of mine. She has a beautiful relationship with money. And, I asked her, how do you do this? How do you do that? Allow yourself to learn as well. And one thing I've also learned being here, not being afraid to ask. A lot of times the Bible says that my people perish due to lack of knowledge. Most of the time, we find ourselves in situations based off the fact that we do not have the knowledge. And sometimes for one to get the knowledge, it is truly to ask a person, and if their response it is not to give the information that they have, it's okay. Ask the Googles, ask the ChatGPT. Life is so much easier in that it's so easy to get information. You step into TikTok, you ask, something will come up, right? So do not allow yourself to perish due to lack of knowledge. If you are planning to come to South Korea and you are fortunate enough that you have maybe a job, put money aside, budget the money for your travel, budget the money for your first month, budget money for your first month. Just have money put aside. When you have income, put money aside. Don't find yourself now asking this and that, where else you had, the access or the capability to just put money aside. And if you don't have a job, it is not to say that it is impossible. If the conviction is South Korea or going abroad, do it. It'll kopana, everything will come together and you will land here. Faith without action is dead, and the Bible says that faith comes through hearing. So if the word of God, if the conviction says, if it is pressing your heart to go abroad, but the resources, the finances are not in place, you move based on what you heard, and everything will come well together. So fast forward to now, comparing to when I got here. Socially, I have a beautiful community. I have beautiful friends, and obviously we don't get to see each other frequently or that much because we all stay just so far from each other, and because of the different working schedules and all that, sometimes it's really hard to meet up. But I know that I'm covered. I know that I have people, makshuba, emotionally, I have people, person, strongly footy, that I can call, and they will show up for me. So in that, it is important to build a community of 2 or 3 people that can be just your safe space. It's important to build a community, and try to build a community that aligns with your values, aligns with who you are, aligns with the person you want to be, so that safe, you don't find yourself doing that which you have said you will not do. You don't find yourself swayed and all that. So yeah, choose your people wisely and pray about it. Pray about everything. Is there a Christian community here? At first I attended church online and it was amazing. There are Christian churches in South Korea. There are English as well, English speaking churches here in South Korea. And the moment you go out, you realize like amasonto akhona amasonto la in South Korea. I think it just requires one to step out. And when you step out, you meet people, right? You meet people, you connect with people, and then you get more information. And I think for me, the one thing that also has helped in my social life is the Kingdom Builders Band, which I'm part of. It has exposed me to people, right? So in that, I get to know that there's a church there, there's a church there, and it's super nice that there are just people that I met through the band that are just like fam now. They are family, but also through just the performance, other people, based on just the performance that we had, the concert rather that we had, others we became friends just like that, So yeah, oh my gosh, actually the band has helped me to improve socially. So yeah, in a nutshell, moving here has truly been a blessing, and I would advise anyone to take to have the faith on there, to take the leap of faith and to purchase that one-way ticket and to purchase it. Yes, it does not mean it's going to be easy all the time, but it is worth it. It is worth it financially. It is worth it for your own, but it is worth it financially. It is worth it for your own personal growth. In so many aspects, you get to grow because you are alone, right? You are alone. You learn to fully depend on yourself, but depend on God. You know, you learn to depend on God, and by saying you depend on yourself, it's just that thing that you are alone. If you don't clean up your space, no one else is there to clean up your space. For example, if I don't wash the dishes, I don't have my sister to do the dishes. I don't have my mom to do the dishes. Only I will do the dishes, right? So it just, so you learn, you grow from just the small things to the huge things. You get to learn, you get to know yourself, and I think that is just the best part. That is all that I had. So this is my experience of being in South Korea for almost 2 years, and I'm looking forward to the future. Whether the future is here or not, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to the future. Thank you for watching. Bye.